this video is going to be a little bit ranty. And it's not because I don't like Kylie Jenner, okay? Let's just get that out of the way. Me and Kylie Jenner actually, fun fact, had the same birthday. And I do think that Kylie was pretty hard done by her family. If you watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians back in the day, you may recall the episode where poor little Kylie wanted to become a model like big sister Kendall, and everybody in her family, especially her mother, Momager, was fawning over Kendall's new contract that she'd signed to become a model, and she had this amazing portfolio of all these pictures of herself looking amazing, and Kylie comes downstairs with a portfolio that she made herself with pictures that she printed herself to show her mum because she also wanted to become a model, and her mum basically just like totally ignores Kylie and this portfolio she'd made, yells at Kylie for not supporting Kendall, and poor Kylie storms off, has a tantrum, and gets grounded, I believe, if I recall correctly. Poor little Kylie, she just wants to feel beautiful. She just wants to be taken seriously. She just wants her family to think that she's as beautiful as her sister Kendall, and they just don't. Which basically brings me to the subject of today's video, in that Kylie, girl.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
I think it's clear to anybody with eyeballs that Kylie Jenner has had a pretty dramatic glow up, if you want to call it that. The original Kylie is not the Kylie that we see today. This is not how puberty and aging would have played out for Kylie had she not had fame and fortune and access to amazing plastic surgeons. Now, before I fully get into it, I just want to address one thing. If you are going to comment in the comment section like, "Stop tearing women down, 'cause you're jealous," please stop. I mean, you can comment that if you want to, but I'm just not going to read it. And I don't actually judge anyone for undergoing plastic surgery, because I get what would lead someone to go down that route, because if you're insecure about something and you have the resources and the money, it's like, well, why shouldn't I get it fixed? What I don't like is blatant gaslighting from celebrities and influencers to their fans that they have had nothing done, when you can literally see with your own eyeballs that they have. Now, my point of view on this doesn't necessarily apply to just regular normal people. This is more for the people that have huge influence, like millions upon millions of followers on social media, huge platforms, huge power, and a huge legion of loyal fans who love and trust and support them, and have basically given these people the career and money and fame that they have today. I just think it's really lousy to lie to them, because what it does is it perpetuates these crazily unrealistic beauty standards that everybody is affected by these days. When you are a powerful celebrity or a super famous rich influencer, I feel like, and this is just my personal opinion, feel free to disagree with me, guys, I personally feel like when you have this level of influence and power, you also have a level of responsibility to your fans, especially if you have fans who are young women, to be open and honest about what you have or haven't had done to your face and body, especially if it's a crazily dramatic transformation like Bella Hadid, for example, or Kylie Jenner. Getting tweakments, getting filler, getting Botox, getting plastic surgery is not a crime. No one is going to put you in a police van and throw you in jail for getting a nose job. It's not shameful. There's nothing shameful about it. So I just don't understand why so many celebrities lie about it. Like, literally blatantly lie in interviews and on podcasts and on social media. It's like, okay, don't say anything about it if you don't want to, but don't actively go out of your way to lie. No one's going to think any less of you if you are honest about work that you've had done. They might actually think more of you. They might actually respect you more for having the guts and the courage to say, you know what, I felt insecure about my nose, and so I had a slight nose job. Or I didn't like my crooked teeth, and so I had them filed down into fangs and had veneers put on. No one is actually going to think less of you for being honest. People are just going to probably love and respect you more. So I just don't understand why more celebrities aren't honest. And in the case of Kylie Jenner, this is what irks me, right? So I read the other day that Kylie had a recent interview, and in this interview she says, and I quote, "I think a big misconception about me is that I've had so much surgery on my face and that I was some insecure person, and I really wasn't." She says, "I was always the most confident person in the room. I was the girl performing for everyone. I had one lip insecurity thing. I got lip filler and it was the best thing I've ever done. I don't regret it, but I always thought I was cute." Kylie, girl. She's not exactly lying in this interview in saying that she actually hasn't had anything done, but in a really roundabout way, that's kind of exactly what she's doing. She's basically, and this is how I interpret the interview, it's as though she's saying that the only thing she's had done to her entire appearance is a bit of lip filler. And I just don't believe it. You can literally see with your own eyes when you look at a younger picture of Kylie Jenner to a more recent picture of Kylie Jenner that they almost look like different people. If you didn't know who she was, you would be forgiven for thinking that they were two different people. This is not a normal trajectory of what puberty will do to you. And that's what irritates me about interviews like this, where these celebrities basically say that they've had nothing done when they clearly have. It's because they've got so many, like millions upon millions of young girls following them who look up to them and who honestly idolize them. And when you're a young girl, it's a really vulnerable time, especially for your self-esteem, and your face is changing and your body's changing. And then you look at your favorite celebrity, Kylie Jenner, for example, and what she used to look like and what she looks like now, and you're like, why don't I look like that? Why is puberty not being so kind to me? Why is my nose not shrinking? Why are my lips not naturally getting bigger? Why are my eyes not enlarging? Why are my brows getting lower instead of higher? It can really skew the way you think people are supposed to look when you see crazy wild transformations like this that don't actually exist in nature, and wonder why you don't look like that, or wonder why you haven't had a natural glow up like that. And it can make these girls feel really shit about themselves. When these celebrities and influencers lie about the work they've had done, it can lead other people who are looking at said celebrity and influencer to compare themselves negatively. And so suddenly you start seeing your own normal features, such as hooded eyes, wide nose, thin lips, as being flaws, when they're not. They're perfectly normal, beautiful features. But when you see celebrities that previously had these features change them and get rid of them and fix them, and suddenly they no longer have the facial features that you still have, you feel insecure and ashamed of them, and you also want to undergo treatments and plastic surgery to fix them when there's nothing to fix. Kylie is not the only one at fault here. Like Bella Hadid kind of originally lied about having her nose done, when again, anybody with eyeballs can see that Bella Hadid's original nose is not the nose that she has now as an adult, and that is not the usual trajectory for noses to follow. She didn't blatantly lie and say, no, I never had a nose job, but when people would ask her whether she'd had work done on her face, she'd be like, people think I got this or that done. You can do a scan of my face, darling. And then a few years later, she did actually come out and admit to having a nose job at the age of 14. It's like, why didn't you just admit that in the first place? Why not just be honest about it when you have such a legion of adoring, loyal young fans? And Kylie, like Bella, doesn't have a great track record of being honest with her fans. Does anybody else remember when Kylie claimed that she hadn't had lip fillers and that it was just this lip liner that she was using that had increased her pout by like 10 times the size? And so everybody went out and bought this lip liner, and then everybody was trying to do the Kylie Jenner lip challenge, where people were taking lids and sucking the shit out of their lips until their lips were so swollen that they suddenly had a Kylie Jenner lip shape. And some young Kylie Jenner fans literally ended up in hospital because their lips like exploded. This is what happens when you aren't honest. It leads to people speculating, like me, and it can lead to people doing dangerous things trying to emulate your glow up. When if you were just honest to begin with and said, yep, I had this surgery, I had this treatment, I'm not ashamed of it, I like the way it looks, I don't regret it. I just think our society is kind of messed up with the way we view people and what we see as flaws. And this is why I make the videos that I make on my channel. It's certainly not to tear any woman down. Like, I honestly would never do that. And if you watch my videos, hopefully you understand my heart in making these videos. But I do like to humanize people, especially people on massive platforms, like huge pedestals, like people that other people idolize as thinking they are somehow superhuman or compare themselves negatively to. I like to, on my channel, be like, well, hang on a second. Yes, this person is incredibly talented, incredibly beautiful, but they are also a human being, and no human being is perfect. These facial features that we've started thinking of as being flaws that need fixed via surgery are actually normal, beautiful facial features. There's nothing wrong with having a wide nose. There's nothing wrong with having a hooked nose. There's nothing wrong with having thin lips. Hooded eyes are beautiful. The majority of the world's population will have acne at some point. Like, these are not flaws. Another thing that I thought was interesting that Kylie said in this interview, and I quote, is that I see my features in my daughter and my son now. My daughter looks like me. I get to see my beauty in her, and it's made me love myself more for sure. I actually really love that quote. I kind of wish that Kylie would have seen the beauty in herself when she was younger, rather than now when when she's changed herself so much. And again, that's kind of why I make the deep dive videos on my channel that I do. For example, the one on noses, if you guys haven't seen it, it's up here. If you actually delve into our beauty standards, you start seeing them for the absolute bullshit that they are. And when you start realizing where certain facial features come from and how they tie back to your ancestors and how unique and special and individual and beautiful you are, and how you don't actually have to look like a carbon copy of everybody else in order to be attractive or feel good about yourself, it's actually such a freeing thing. And harking back to Bella Hadid, she did have the nose job at 14, but now as an adult, she regrets the nose job and wishes, and this is what she said herself, she wishes that she kept the nose of her ancestors because she thinks she would have grown into it. And that's what I'm trying to get across on my channel. I'm not trying to pull anyone down. I'm not trying to judge anybody. I'm certainly not jealous of these celebrities. I'm quite happy with my life. Thank you very much. It's that I wish that we could actually see beauty in uniqueness and individuality, and that we can, over time, maybe dismantle these unrealistic beauty standards that I feel like we're all kind of being held to at the minute. Anyway, you guys, that was a bit of a rant, and I think I need to go and chill out.